Welcome. Today, we're looking into a growing investigation involving DriveTime and Bridgecrest, two big names in subprime auto lending. The focus is on alleged undisclosed or poorly disclosed online payment fees charged when borrowers use Bridgecrest's online portal. This isn't just about a few extra bucks. It raises questions about possible violations of consumer protection laws and impacts some of the most financially vulnerable borrowers.
Right. And what's really interesting here is the legal approach: mass arbitration. Instead of a traditional class action, attorneys are organizing individual arbitration claims for borrowers. It's a smart workaround, especially since many contracts block class actions through arbitration clauses. But before we dive into that, let's clarify the DriveTime and Bridgecrest connection.
Sure. DriveTime is one of the largest buy here, pay here used car retailers in the U.S., mainly serving people with limited or damaged credit. Unlike typical loans involving third-party lenders, most DriveTime customers have financing serviced by Bridgecrest, a related company that handles billing, payments, and collections. This vertical integration, sales, financing, and servicing, all under one roof, raises concerns about transparency and leverage over borrowers.
Exactly. That setup can create a perfect storm for questionable fees. Borrowers often have limited options, and when fees are buried or not clearly disclosed, they can easily go unnoticed. The main allegation here is about online payment fees charged when borrowers pay through Bridgecrest's portal. Borrowers say these fees were added at checkout without clear, upfront disclosure.
And it gets trickier. Some borrowers say these fees were shown as either optional or unavoidable, but without a truly accessible, fee-free payment option. So even if the fee was technically optional, the alternative methods without fees weren't equally easy to use. Plus, disclosures were often hidden in fine print, vague language, or only visible after logging in. Many only found out about the fees after paying, with no real way to avoid them.
That's a key point. Transparency matters, especially for financially vulnerable consumers who can't just absorb surprise costs. There's also confusion about where these fees actually go: Bridgecrest, a third-party processor, or both. This lack of clarity is central to the legal claims.
Let's break down the laws that might be involved. First, the Truth in Lending Act, or TILA, requires clear disclosure of all finance charges. If these online payment fees are effectively mandatory or routinely incurred, they could count as finance charges needing upfront disclosure.
Then there are State Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Acts, UDTPAs. Most states ban misleading business practices or hiding material info. Not clearly disclosing these fees, especially to vulnerable borrowers, could be deceptive.
The Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, or FDCPA, usually applies to third-party debt collectors, but courts are increasingly looking at servicing practices that add unauthorized fees or misrepresent amounts owed. So Bridgecrest's actions could fall under this too.
And finally, the Electronic Fund Transfer Act, or FTA, governs electronic payments. It prohibits conditioning payments on fees unless certain disclosures are made and fee-free alternatives are provided. Since these fees are tied to online payments, this is especially relevant.
Together, these laws aim to protect consumers from hidden or unfair fees, especially in digital payment settings. Now, Chloe, why are attorneys using mass arbitration here?
Well, many consumer contracts have arbitration clauses that block class actions. Mass arbitration gets around that by having each borrower file an individual arbitration claim. The company then pays filing and admin fees for each case. When hundreds or thousands come in at once, costs add up fast, pressuring companies to settle or change practices.
It's a clever tactic. And for borrowers, it usually means no upfront legal fees, which lowers the barrier to participate.
So who might be eligible? If you financed a vehicle through DriveTime, had your loan serviced by Bridgecrest, made one or more online payments through their portal, and were charged a fee in connection with that payment within the last year, you could qualify. Even small fees, like $3, $5, or $10, can add up to significant statutory damages when multiplied across many payments and borrowers.
And what about potential compensation? Successful claims could lead to refunds of all fees paid, statutory damages under consumer laws, settlement payments ranging from tens to hundreds of dollars per borrower, and even policy changes requiring clearer disclosures or eliminating these fees.
That's meaningful, especially since these small fees, when applied systematically across tens of thousands of borrowers, generate millions in revenue. It's a big deal for consumer rights.
This fits into a broader national focus on subprime auto lending. Consumers with limited credit options often face aggressive fees, limited payment choices, high interest rates combined with add-ons, and opaque servicing. Regulators, including the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, have warned that digital payment platforms must comply with disclosure laws, just like traditional methods.
So this case could be a bellwether for reform in subprime auto lending. For borrowers who think they might be affected, here's some advice. Review your payment history for fees labeled convenience, processing, or online payment fees. Save screenshots or statements showing these fees. Document how and when fees were disclosed, if at all. And watch for announcements from consumer rights law firms organizing claims.
Documentation is key to supporting any claim. And while a few dollars per payment might seem minor, the cumulative impact is significant, especially for those already in tight financial spots.
To wrap up, this investigation highlights the need for transparency and fairness in auto lending, especially with digital payments. It also shows how legal strategies like mass arbitration are evolving to protect consumers when class actions aren't an option.
Exactly. We'll keep an eye on this story as it develops. For now, it's a reminder that even small fees matter, and consumer protection laws exist to ensure fairness in an increasingly digital financial world.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this sheds light on an important issue affecting many borrowers and the broader subprime lending landscape.
Take care and stay informed.